Hello,
Hi,
hello.
how you
Good,
doing?
how are you?
Good, nervous but good.
Good. I just had a little issue trying to get you to join it. Like, it came up with your name, then every time I went to click invite, it
Oh,
disappeared. So I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
that's the first time I've done anything like this on the phone, so I got no idea what's going on.
Okay, I'm just learning through practice. Like, very first time I did one, I had no idea either. Sometimes it still wants to stuff up and not work the way you want it to, but we do the best we can.
Good old technology, hey?
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Good. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And I'll just introduce you to everyone. Um, so tonight, I'm obviously interviewing Paige, who was a lovely past client of mine. We worked together for 10 weeks. And Paige and I went to high school together back in Murray Bridge. And you ended up moving away, I think, pretty much not long after we finished high school.
I did, yes, I did.
And we got back in connection via Facebook.
Yes.
And I'm guessing you were probably aware, because I think pretty much everyone was, that I was pretty chronically anxious in high school. Like, I was not.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
was not a good friend.
No, and being in your friend circle as well, you sort of know these things.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I feel like I never really, like, I was obviously showing it really well, but I never noticed at all that you were struggling with your mental health at all. I feel you hit it pretty well.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that, like you don't really want to admit that you're struggling, and like it's hard to reach out. It is really hard to reach out. You don't want people to know that, well, you don't want to show your weakness. And that was my biggest thing, is that I've struggled with it for a long time. And after seeing, I saw what you like at school, and then recently you started your business, and seeing what you like then is fantastic. It's been, such an amazing thing to see the difference. I thought, hang on, if Zoe can do it, well, heck, why can't I? So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Still blows my mind sometimes, because I know how bad I was back then, and it's like looking back, I'm like, oh my God, like this just seems like a dream sometimes.
yeah.
So yeah, so basically we reconnected on Facebook. You kind of got to know kind of what I was doing since I started my business, and like kind of the work I've done, and sort of how I've been able to transform my life, sorry. And then you kind of noticed that and thought, yeah, maybe, she can help me too. And I think it's so powerful because you knew me personally, so you know how true the changes in me are. So it was so powerful to be able to support you and work with you, and yeah, show you what's possible on the other side.
Definitely. And I think I've spoken to a few people about it, and a lot of people are like, oh, like, isn't that hard? Like you went to school together, you're friends, like, isn't that hard to sort of open up? And I thought, well, it's actually not, because, we were friends back then and we've reconnected now, and, like, it's a bit different reaching out to a friend that sort of has been there and done that, and, like, you have that trust in them that they're not, you're not just going to go out and tell the whole world, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's a bit different, and you feel comfortable with them. You don't feel like you're sitting in somebody else's office and they're secretly judging you, or, like that. I found it a lot easier to sort of connect and talk to somebody that I already knew.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm so glad that, you felt comfortable and vulnerable to open up to me, and that we already had, that connection. Definitely helps.
It certainly did. It really did.
And I was just honored to kind of give you that space to feel, safe, seen and heard, and comfortable. Know that I'm not going to judge you.
It's good. It really is.
And that's why it's so powerful to work with someone, for anyone out there such as myself, someone that's been through what you're going through, so they're less likely to judge you, right? Rather than when you go to see like a psychologist or something, and they just go straight out the book, and they possibly are, judging you because they haven't been through it. They don't understand what you're going through on a deep level.
And as well, like, you have tips that, like you've learned, and then you're throwing at me, and it's helped a lot. Like it makes more sense coming from somebody as well that has been through it, and it actually works. You know, the techniques that you say, they work because they've worked for you. And, you know, like if they've worked for you, then why can't they work for me and everybody else?
Yeah, they definitely can. When you've experienced it and you're so passionate about how it works, you just can't help but, you know, share it with the world.
Yes.
So what would you say your life was like prior to working with me?
It was pretty bad. Like, I was in a bad place for a long time, and, you know, you don't tend to tell people about it, or you don't want to open up to people because you don't want them to judge you and, you know, see your weakness. And even though there's nothing wrong with being weak in that way at all, but, you know, like, I was really stressed. I would struggle at work with, you know, you know, with on call, there was times where the stress levels were really, really high, and it was a struggle. Um, you know, there was days where I really struggled to go to work because I was that stressed, and so much had happened all in one hit. Instead of working through individual things, it was a big thing, and I couldn't go to work. Like, it was really hard. It was a struggle. And, you know, like, that, I think that was one of the worst things. But, you know, I had terrible body image, really bad self-doubt, and a lot of my relationships with people, you know, family and friends, and as well some, you know, like some work colleagues suffered from that as well. You know, it's not ideal, but that's what it was. And I got to the point where I was sick of it, and I thought, well, I've got to do something. You know, like Dave noticed it, and he's like, you know, like, we need to do something. We can't keep going like this. And it's, you know, it's not fair on the people around you either.
Yeah, definitely. When you're going through something like this, it doesn't just affect yourself. It affects, you know, everyone around you, your family, your friends, your work colleagues, because when you're in that bad mental health space, you know, you can't help but really show up, you know, like that, and other people pick up on it, and kind of you start to lose control of your actions and what you're doing, and you just start to react because your body feels so anxious and stressed and unsafe that you just basically, yeah, get to that state where you basically feel out of control and your body's reacting, getting in that fight or flight scene where, yeah.
And for me, you know, you'd get home and all this stuff would go, and you just burst into tears. And Dad's like, well, what's wrong? Like, what's happened? And it's like, it's not one thing. It's a big thing. Like, it's everything's combined, and it's like it just exploded, and you just can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where it breaks my heart, because so many people like you previously, like, you felt like too scared to reach out, that you'd be judged, that, you know, maybe people would put you down and think differently of you. So you just bottle it all up. You just bottle it all up, suppress it all until it just kind of bursts out of you, like in your form, in tears. Like, for some people it's tears, some people it's anger. You know, people explode in different ways when it just gets to the point that their body and mind can't take it anymore.
That's it. And, you know, you reach that point and you think, what can I do?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like a lot of people quite often need to hit that breaking point before, you know, they're willing to actually do something. Like, prior, they're like, oh, just a bit of stress and anxiety, I'll get over it, whatever.
And that was me for a long time. You think, oh, you know, like, it'll be fine. It'll sort itself out. And it's like, it doesn't. You know, there's got to be a point where, like, hang on, I need help. I can't do it on my own.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why it's so good that that you were able to find that space to kind of reach out. And that's why I just think it's so important. Like, obviously there's some negative aspects of social media, but there's also so many positive when you can start following people that are kind of where you want to be in life, and start role modeling them and getting support and tips from them. And it can, like, totally transform your life, right? It's so important to surround ourselves with the right people.
Oh, it definitely is. I've noticed as well, like, there's a lot more people now on social media opening up about their mental struggles. Definitely. And, you know, why shouldn't you? If you can help somebody, you know, just one person, then go for it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And I mean, it's taken me a while to realize that there's nothing to be ashamed of for asking for help and putting your hand up saying, hey, I'm struggling. I just can't do it on my own.
Well, I actually personally think it makes us stronger to reach out for help. Like, you still get those people that I guess it's a bit, you know, that it makes you weak, but more of us are opening to be open, to be vulnerable, to say that we're struggling and be willing to, you know, get that help and do what we need to do to, you know, lift ourselves up. And then we can also help lift other people up and kind of heal as a collective, right? The more time, like the more people that heal, the more we help heal like the whole collective. So
that's it. That's
really
it.
powerful.
It is.
And had you, like prior to working with me, had you previously done anything to try and help yourself, like meditation or reading books or anything?
I actually brought these books, Insight Mind they are, and I think it's about 7 of them together, you know, like helping your mind and relationships and positivity, all that. And Dave had actually brought these Underbelly DVDs, and he watched them, and I was not interested. I thought that's a perfect time for me to, you know, go in the other room and actually start it. And I did there for a while until he finished the series, and I stopped making that time for myself then. So then, you know, I just stopped. And I think it's a lot harder as well to do that sort of stuff because you don't have, you know, like it's easy to self-sabotage, which is what I find, that you don't stick to it. And whereas if you're showing up with somebody else like I have with you, it's a lot easier because you think, okay, I've got this time booked in, I'm going to do my session, and then afterwards I'm going to do my homework. And it, you know, you're in that mind space for that period of time, and you have somebody else there to help you work through it. You're not doing it on your own like I did, or that question's a bit hard, I'm not going to do it, or, you know, it's getting too hard now. Hang on, why am I going to do this when it's too hard? And I have nobody to, you know, sort of push you to do it or to show up, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. It makes it so much better when you've got that person to motivate you and support you and just show you that you're not alone, and to help you answer those questions whenever you need. And that's what also I find powerful when you work with a coach like myself, for example. Like, you can get support literally any time of day, unlimited like support. But say when you go to see like a therapist or something, you get like one session like a week or sometimes even a fortnight or longer, and then it's just in and out, like no support outside of that. But when you work with someone like myself, like, it's unlimited support. So if you have any questions outside of our sessions, anytime you can message me and get that support. And you had that accountability. You always had homework to go home and do to keep you on track throughout the week and keep you moving forward.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And it was good with you as well. You know, like I would have a bad day or something's gone wrong, and you check in and be like, this has gone wrong, and you're like, well, how are you dealing with it? Or, you know, like these are ways to help do it. And it was good. It's like you said, it's not you just go in once a week and you talk about that thing and then that's it. You know, like you're there the full time, and it was really helpful. And you know, even now we've finished our sessions, and even now you still check in and you're still like, hey, God, and you know, you're still able to help me with those ongoing things, or to remind me that it's not my fault and that person isn't going to change. So stop being so hard on myself for that, which is really good.
Yeah, definitely. You can never control what other people do. It's just about learning to be the best person that you can be and being a positive influence for other people as well.
That's it.
And yeah, it's really good that I offered you that, you know, that support whenever you need it. And there was something else I was going to say, but I forgot. Maybe it will come back to me.
I'm sure it will.
Oh yeah, I'll try and remember it. So what would you say was your biggest roadblock?
That would have to be myself, actually, because everything comes back to me. Like, I haven't, you know, like trying to do it previously, I didn't stick to it. That was on me. I can't blame anybody else for that. And as well as not reaching out for help sooner, or even realizing that I needed to get help sooner, instead of bottling it all up until you get to that point where it's like, okay, you're almost past the point of help because you're that struggling with it that it's, you know, it's a lot harder. So that would definitely have to be my biggest roadblock. And that's not easy to say either, that it is myself.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, but it actually gives you so much power when you openly admit that, you know, I'm like, obviously you can't control everything that happens to you externally, but you can always control, you know, and take control what you do with your life and take the responsibility that I might not be in control of what happened to me, but I'm in control of what I do next, what I let go of, what I heal, what I focus on.
That's it.
And I think I remember what I was going to say. You were talking about self-sabotage.
Yes.
And yeah, that used to be a big culprit for me as well, because, you know, whatever our subconscious mind believes to be true, even if we, so that's why a lot of people also go wrong when they just do like conscious mind work. They just think, oh, I'll just consciously do this positive habit or consciously say positive affirmations, and they can never stick to it because their subconscious mind's like, hey, I don't believe what you're doing. I'm going to come self-sabotage you and bring you back to your beliefs of, you know, being dumb or ugly or fat or whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we need that support to rewire these programs, so self-sabotage kind of gets put to a side, so it's no longer controlling your life.
And a lot of the times, well, sort of, you don't realize you're doing it subconsciously. Either is the thing that I find is the worst. You know, you have all the best intentions in the world to, you know, to do whatever it is you're wanting to do or stick to, and it could be like, you know, within a second it's changed, and you know, you're not really thinking about it or realizing it until, oh, hang on a minute, and you know, you're pulling yourself up after it's too late.
Yeah, definitely. That's the hard part about the subconscious mind. Like, it controls 95% of our lives, but we're not aware of the majority of it. So that's why it makes it so hard to, you know, change unless you've got that support to actually get into that subconscious mind to create the change.
Yeah.
And also, if anyone watching has any questions, feel free to drop them below that we can answer for you. And what do you feel has, you know, changed since after working with me, completing the sessions?
A lot, actually. So before doing this, I would react really badly to situations, like, you know, it would sort of be act first and think later. Whereas now, even today, for instance, you know, I got a message from somebody that I'm sort of struggling with at the moment, and instead of just reading it and flying off the handle like I used to, I sort of, you know, I had a look at the message, I dropped it down on my phone so they couldn't actually see that I'd opened it and read it. I think that's the worst thing you can do sometimes. And, you know, and actually thought about it, thought, hang on, what have they said? Do I need to actually react to this? And then the other thing was, if I do need to react to it, do I need to react badly? Like, can I change it to a positive way, or can I just actually leave it and not react to it? Because sometimes that can be the best thing, is to not, you know, not send that reply and to give them that, you know, pour that fuel on the fire, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the things now that has been the biggest change for me, that that has helped me the most. And again, like, working on that thing that we talked about earlier about, you know, you can't change people, that if they don't want to change, they're not going to, and that's not on me now, that's on them. You know, I'm just gonna be like, hang on, nah, I can't do this anymore. I'm putting myself first. You're having your hissy fit, or, you know, something's not going right with you, that's not my fault. That's not on me, that's on you, and you need to take responsibility for that. And that was one big thing that I really struggled with before, is that I would take it personally when it's, you know, it's not up to me.
Yeah, definitely. And what I find is, a lot of the time when we take it personally, and when you took it personally, it's because you believed sort of what they were saying about you. When you learn to, like, you know, love yourself and rewire those beliefs, also you handle it so much better because you don't actually believe what they're saying anymore when they put you down.
That's it. You know, like, it's hard though when it's been drummed into you for so long to believe that, or, you know, you're told this over and over again, and I think that was the hardest part, is to get out of it, you know, take a stand back and look at it from a different perspective, and and not just be, oh, okay, well, this is what I've always been taught and this is what I've been told, so it must be my problem or my fault. So that, you know, that's another way to do it. Take a step back and just have a look at it and see if it actually is on you or if it actually does affect you. Because a lot of the times it doesn't, and it's on them.
And what would you say has changed with your body image?
I'm still working on that one. That was one of the harder things for me, you know, changing from a really full-on active job to now I sit in my bum and drive around all day pretty much. And, you know, so there's been a lot of physical change there, a lot of weight gain and a lot of muscle loss, which was really hard for me to deal with. And it was hard to sort of love myself after being who I was before to becoming now. And instead of focusing on, hang on a minute, I've gained a lot of weight, it's now my body can still do this. You know, like I'm climbing up freaking half cliff things in training to try and do Dakota. So I never would have thought of doing that before. And I think, hang on, my body is actually doing this with ease and I'm not so sore after it. I'm not struggling. It's, you know, it's changing that mindset on looking at it of just the negatives and be like, my body is doing this for me. It's, you know, it's doing this, it's this and this. It's not just that one thing. And yeah, it's, you know, it's not easy learning to love yourself again, but, you know, there's no point in not loving yourself either. You know, it's only going to make you unhappy. But the best thing is to focus on the positives of what you can do and slowly work back up to loving yourself the way you were, or even just embracing the new you. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, 100%. And I loved when you sent me that positive message about, you know, buying the jeans and just saying yes instead of what you used to do when you'd like pick apart your body and everything that you felt was wrong. Instead, you were just like, nah, looks good, I'm happy with it. And purchased it.
That's it.
And do you have any other situations that come to mind that you react differently to now than what you did in the past?
A lot of self-doubt as well. You know, I used to feel, I can't do that, or, you know, like I'm never going to be able to do that. And now I think, you know, why the heck not? Even, you know, with this. It's like, oh, this is very far out of my my comfort zone. And I think, you know, why not? Give it a whirl. You know, there's nothing wrong with trying new things and, you know, believing in yourself more.
Yeah, definitely. So it's so good that the opportunities come up instead of saying, you know, no, because self-doubt creeps in. You're like, what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to know that with anything it comes with, you know, practice, putting yourself out there, knowing that it's okay to take messy action and grow and learn.
Yes, that's it.
Anything else come to mind, or like self-doubt, and then you were talking about work situations?
Relationships as well with people. Yeah, like, you know, there's certain people that I struggle to, you know, to talk to and spend time with, because they're toxic people. And, you know, even whether it's family or friends, it's sort of always, well, not so much always been ingrained, but it's always, you know, sort of more pushed that the family or the friends, you know, like you've got to accept them and you've got to keep trying. And it's like, well, if they're toxic people, no, I need to put myself first and I need to put boundaries in place. And that's helped me a lot. That was one of the biggest things that you've helped me with, as well, is putting myself first and knowing that it's okay for me to put a boundary up. If I can't deal, you know, with what they're saying or how they're being towards me, then it's okay to not, you know, have to deal with that. To be like, hang on a minute, no, I'll get back to you when I'm in a better mind frame and when I feel that I can deal with you.
Yeah, definitely. Instead of just thinking, oh, we have to, you know, people please them or their family, we have to do what they say, or, you know, put up with being treated not very well just because they're, you know, their family.
And it's really hard. Like, I won't say it's easy. Like, there's still sometimes I struggle with that now, but it's sort of going back to that work that we've done, that I also need to put myself first, because if I'm down in a low spot, then it's not going to benefit me, and it's not going to benefit anybody else around me either. If I can't help myself first, I can't help anybody else.
Yes, spot on. Like, a lot of our times we get stuck in that belief that, you know, it's selfish to put ourselves first and we have to put everyone else before us. But actually, putting ourselves first, it actually benefits us and other people, not just ourselves, because we show up as a better person for other people as well.
That's it. And it is. It's a hard thing to sort of change and get in that different mindset of doing too.
Yeah, definitely. Also realizing that if people put you down and say, for example, that you're selfish or that you should do rah-rah for them when you don't want to know that it's not actually about you, it's about them, and they're like probably secretly judging themselves for, you know, not putting other people first, so then they're projecting that onto you. Yeah, so it's so good that, you know, you've got all this awareness now, and, you know, see, you know, how far that you've been able to come.
It's good to see it as well, and so it's good to have, like, my partner Dave. He notices it as well, and I think it's actually good to sort of have him notice the change as well, from how bad I was to where I am now. And I mean, I've still got a long way to go, but, you know, it got the hardest part done first, and that's accepting that I need help and getting that help and that process to where I am now.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's like an ongoing journey. You don't hit 100% healed or perfect after 10 weeks. Like, it's an ongoing process. But the fact that you've come as far as you come, and, you know, you've got that drive now to be able to get even further, and that's all you need, and you'll get there.
And there's always there's always going to be those problems or those hills that you've got to get through as well. And so having those techniques of, you know, whatever those techniques are for that situation to be able to help, it helps. It makes it that much easier to actually get through it.
Yeah, definitely, because you can't get rid of all the hurdles in life, but having those, you know, tools to help you move through them is really, really powerful.
It'd be nice if we could, though.
Yeah, definitely. In a way, if you could, life might be a bit boring at times if you didn't ever experience any hurdles or challenges.
That's very true. You do need those. You learn from them.
Definitely. And what would you say you enjoyed the most working with me?
Having you be able to help me so much with it, like going through it yourself. Yeah, again, like not being with a complete stranger. Some people say it's easier being with a stranger, but I actually enjoyed that part of working with you, that, you know, you knew me from that long ago, and yeah, there's a lot of things that you didn't know about me, because that's, you know, like I didn't let people see that side of me back then. And, you know, the whole way through it, you were fantastic. You know, like you were there to support me. And again, you didn't make me feel like, you know, I'm an idiot or, you know, anything like that. You just made me feel comfortable. And knowing that you had done it yourself and being able to come through the other side and see where you are now, I think that was the best part, because it gave me hope that, heck, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I really wanted you to join me for this live, to show anyone else out there that, you know, struggling, that it's possible. If it's possible for us to, then it's possible for anyone, you know. You just have to know, you just have to find the right support for you, you know, reach out if you need, and just kind of know that it's okay to ask lots of questions. Like, sometimes people feel like they can't ask lots of questions, and then that's why they're not feeling so comfortable, not getting away, knowing that, okay, ask as many questions as you need you know, find the right support for you, and nothing's a dumb question. And we
Yes.
all go through struggles, so never, you know, judgments, just helping you to move forward.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
And what would you say, is there anything that you would want, is there anything you'd like to let other women know out there? Any takeaways?
To not be afraid to reach out and ask for help. That is the biggest thing. That, you know, it's always sort of been that thing that, oh, you know, like it's weak to ask for help, or, you know, something like that. It's not. There's nothing wrong with saying, hang on, I can't deal anymore. I need help and I can't do it on my own. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And, you know, like with this program, it has helped me so much. I started out doing I think it was over a 2-week, 1 day a week, a free mini mindset course, and I thought, oh, you know, like I'll give it a while. I don't think it will help me or whatever. And I got to the end of it, and I said to Dave, I thought, this actually, it makes sense. Like, I think I need to do this, and he was so supportive of that. That it was, you know, it was really good. And so then, you know, I joined on, and here we are. But, you know, you do these, you know, these free mini courses to see if it's for you, and I absolutely recommend jumping on and doing them, even if you don't think that, you know, you're a bit skeptical about it. Just jump on. It's free. It's a mini course, so you know, you cover a bit of everything. You know, give it a whirl.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it's about, to give everyone a little bit of a taste and some support to know what it's like, and to show them that, you know, it's possible. And it might feel impossible, but that's because you've never done it before, right? So you just need
absolutely. And it's scary to start with.
And before you know it, your life can be completely changed.
Yes, it certainly can, and it's good.
So, any, you know, last words,
What was that? Sorry, the internet connection's pretty dodgy at the moment.
Any last words that you'd like to let everyone know, or recommend to anyone?
Just give it a whirl. Pretty much. And again, like, just reach out. I think that's the biggest takeaway from it, is reach out, and that you're not alone. You know, if anybody's, you know, wondering about your courses, have a look. Jump online and have a look, or send you a message and see what ones you can recommend. There's so many different ones that, you know, there's bound to be something that's going to work for them there.
Yeah, definitely. I always try it on, like, that's why I also have the Rewrite Your Anxiety method that kind of focuses on everything you need, right? Not just the mindset work, because there's more than that. It's also, you know, the body connection work and the habit work and the nervous system regulation work, because it's also so important. So no matter what, you know, someone out there struggling with, whether it's their mindset, whether it's their lack of body connection and not really understanding what's going on in their body, and kind of getting into that really stressed state, like it's just coming out of nowhere because they're not connected to their body, whether, you know, they're just living in the fight or flight phase, or whether they've got some really negative habits that they're wanting to get rid of. Like, it covers pretty much everything that you need to be able to heal your anxiety.
It does. And, you know, towards the end of that mindset course as well, we touched on a few different things that then leads into other courses that you do. So it's really good as well that, you know, like sort of one finishes and it can lead on into another one, so you can, you know, do more work focused on that other thing as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so good because, you know, there's structure in it, so you're not like just constantly going over the same things all the time, which I feel like sometimes, say, when you go to a psychologist, you can just pretty much be doing the same stuff every single day. But, you know, there's structure, and that structure's there for a reason.
Yeah. Yes.
As well as tailoring it to you individually. Like, I've got like the structure of the program, but if you come to me with a certain problem, I'm still going to help you with whatever that problem is. Yeah,
that's it as well. And, you know, like, you're easy to get on with and such an approachable person as well that it's not really daunting like a psychologist or a counselor that I found, when I went and saw them. It's like, oh, okay, like, are they judging me as soon as I walk in the door? Am I doing this right, or am I doing that right? Or, and they tend to ask a lot more questions than they sort of give you answers to, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you need to get it off your chest, but you also need advice on how to deal with that. And I found that they didn't really help with that at all. Whereas, like with you, it's more, okay, like what can I do for you kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And also helping you find those answers within. That's a big part of the coaching process, right? Empowering you to find the answers within and giving you the tools that you can use throughout your whole life to support you.
Yes. And I found as well, like, because I kept a notebook of it the whole time, like, if there's something I'm struggling with and I think, oh, what would Zoe tell me to do or whatever, I could flick back through it and I see all of the work that I've done and, all of your recommendations. So it's not like, oh, I'm out back on my own again. I don't know how to deal with this. It's, hang on, I've got all this written down here. I can flick back and something in there I know is going to help me, get through this hurdle.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, I love that so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's all right. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Like, I feel like I'm nearly going to cry happy tears because it's kind of like when my clients have breakthroughs, it's really powerful and it makes that, like 14 years of chronic anxiety, it makes it worth it, right? Like I went through it for a reason. Even though it was torture, I went through it to be where I am today and to help other women that were also suffering.
Yes, definitely. It does. It certainly helps. It's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
No worries. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.